The Big Beautiful Bill Unraveled. What the new bill means for you and your taxes. They're calling it the Big Beautiful Bill, but is it a gift or is it a trap? Stay tuned to the very end and you'll find out more about how it affects your wallet. You should care about this because the Big Beautiful Bill will affect how much money you're going to owe at tax time, or maybe the amount of money you're going to get back. That's a very, very powerful place because whether you are a simple filer or more complex, the rules are changing right before our eyes and they're going to have an impact on your bottom line. You'll find this very interesting that there are new tax brackets, an 8%, a 15%, and a 28% tax bracket. And that's kind of an interesting thought right there. And which bracket would you like to belong to? And are there advantages over one tax bracket to another? Those are the great questions to ask about how the Big Beautiful Bill has changed all types of approaches when it comes to tax policy. The standard deduction is going to increase. There's going to be a child tax credit up to $3,200, and for young families, trust me, they can use the money. 100% tax deduction for U.S.-based manufacturing. That, too, is a superpower, not just on the tools that are going to be purchased, but folks, we're talking about the actual buildings themselves, 100% tax deduction. So Trump, when he said he's bringing manufacturing back to the United States and there's going to be a significant boom here in this country, well, I see this happening because this bill is going to be the oil that greases the wheels to make it happen. You may ask yourself the question, who wins and who doesn't? Married tax filers above $150,000, there's going to be some savings here for you, and you're going to be super excited about that. High earners see limits on SALT deduction, and the SALT is something that really need to pay closer attention to as well, because this starts affecting some of your local taxes and state taxes that you're paying. And on top of that, gig workers, watch for 1099 rule changes, and these things really could have a big impact on what you're bringing home and what you're able to claim. Business incentives equals the parallel economy. Secretary of Treasury Scott Bessent was being interviewed the other day, and he spoke very much about this idea of a parallel economy between the wealthy, the business owners, and of course, people on Main Street, but says that everybody is going to benefit in the Big Beautiful Bill.
I Charlie, what I like about this bill is the parallel prosperity. So it's good for business, good for working people. And the intersection of that is really in this.
As long as you're participating in the economy, there's something in there for everybody. Factory owners, for instance, who build in the U.S. get full tax relief. That's crazy. And folks, I can't begin to tell you how powerful of an impact that's going to have on the U.S. economy. Car buyers, yes, you are going to get a Made in America tax incentive. That's in of itself huge if you're buying American products or a product that's made here in the United States. For instance, the Honda Accord is made right in Marysville, Ohio, and so I would assume the tax credit applies to even a Honda Accord. But there's more. Employers are rewarded for hiring blue-collar workers, so this is going to be another powerful thing here. And of course, if you're a blue-collar worker, you're already looking at jobs that could be starting off like in excess of $75,000. That's powerful too. So I want to remind you that there's always a political game being played and there's always strings being pulled when it comes to DC politics. Wall Street pulls their strings and DC pulls theirs. And I want to remind every single viewer that there is always another election cycle right around the corner. This one's no different. Election year timing is never too far off. And Trump passed his Big Beautiful Bill, signed it into law on July 4th of 2025. Only a few months from now, there will be another midterm election. Yes, folks, part of the House of Representatives and 1/3 of the Senate will be up for re-election. And Trump has a very, very narrow period to get these things implemented and show the American people that he's bringing the country in the right direction. With the Big Beautiful Bill, it all got a lot easier for him. Election year timing is no joke, and I want to remind you folks that we are about 4 months out from the November elections, and those midterms really do have a significant impact on DC politics. If one half of the House of Representatives is up for re-election, that could be a significant swing positively for Trump or negatively towards the Democratic Party. We'll see what happens here in the not too distant future. We know that there's a timer that's set, and Trump's policies must start delivering almost immediately, or the Democratic Party will have a tremendous amount of momentum to take the pendulum back the other way. There's going to be Trump-era tax policies versus the Biden-era tax policies. Could these policies come to fruition all over again? Could the big, beautiful bill be repealed next election cycle? Well, depending on who's sitting in Congress next election cycle, right? And this really does have some really super powerful ramifications. So we're asking ourselves these questions because there's a lot of angst out there. And once again, when you're going to the grocery store and you're paying more and your money's not going as far, and you're now hearing more talk about tariffs and price fluctuations, there's disruption, and it affects the way people think. It affects the way they act. And maybe you're one of those people. Hit like, because not because you like the feeling, but because you're understanding this stuff is real and it's affecting me in 2025. Hi, I'm Brian, and I want to remind you that this big, beautiful bill, is it truly beneficial, or does it only help a certain part of the population out? Make some comments down here in the... Leave your comments in the comments section, and I will respond in person to every single one. I want to remind you folks that the biggest battle we fight is the one between your ears. Stay healthy, and I want to remind you, I do have a way to beat inflation. It's a link in the description. Go ahead, sign up for this so I can give you right now 3 steps to help you prepare for the inflation cycle that's about to hit us right now.